Welcome along to the stream, guys. We have got the Azerbaijan Grand Prix today, and we have 51 laps of racing around the Baku Street Circuit. Lots to look forward to, lots of action will be coming up in the next 2 hours. The race starts in 14 minutes time. And just for you that guys are looking at the map, Logan Sargent's GPS is currently broken. It will fix itself once the race does start, but yeah, that's why he's there in between turn 1 and 2. Hello, Kies. I'm doing pretty good. Yeah. So yeah, hope you guys are all doing all right as well. And the sound is low. I didn't have my volume knob turned all the way up, so that's fixed it. All right then. So we do have a little bit of news. We have Esteban Ocon and Hülkenberg starting from the pit lane. We obviously had Esteban Ocon starting from the pit lane yesterday. He made some suspension adjustments in his setup, and you're not meant to do that under parc fermé conditions. So of course they did end up changing the suspension setup, and then that has caused them to start from the pit lane, because that's the rule. If you change your setup during parc fermé, then you have to start from the pit lane. And the same can be said for Nico Hülkenberg. Nico Hülkenberg had a pretty horrible race yesterday. He dropped like 4 positions in 3 laps or something. It really wasn't ideal for him. So I think Haas have realised that their setup wasn't great, and they're going to be switching it up a little bit, trying to improve it. I presume, they've gathered some data. They're going to change it up so he is faster in today's race. And he's going to start somewhere in the bottom 5 anyway, so he might as well start from the pit lane with a good setup than start like 17th with a bad setup. Can someone respond to me? Is Leclerc or Perez starting? Well, Leclerc is starting from pole position, yeah. Well, yeah, Leclerc starting from pole position. We'll see if he can hold on to it. So yesterday we obviously had Leclerc in first, and then Perez in second, Verstappen in third at the start of the race. Today we have Leclerc once again in first, but this time it's Verstappen then Perez, rather than the other way around. So we'll see what happens into turn number 1, and we'll see what happens into turn 1. We might see Max Verstappen make a move down there. But the thing is, the run into turn 1 is quite short. I mentioned this yesterday, and the drivers don't have that much time to actually gain and get past their rivals. They're mainly just going to be side by side going into turn 1. And yeah, why is Leclerc leading? So you know how we have a new sprint format this weekend. The new sprint format dictates that the driver who the qualifying positions from Friday, that is why it's those positions from the qualifying session on Friday that decide the grid for today's race. It's not like last year where the driver who won the sprint race starts in first place. So the new format is slightly confusing. I mean, any sort of change is a little bit more confusing than what we usually do. But maybe this way's better. We don't really know yet. We'll see how this race goes. But yeah, 10 minutes now. The drivers are just attending the national anthem ceremony, and they will be starting the race very, very shortly. So who's on pole now? Charles Leclerc is on pole position, guys. I just want to let you know that the positions that are on the screen right now in first, second, third, though, that is the starting grid. So that is where everyone is starting. The sprint, well, it's not useless. It was just providing more action for the fans. It doesn't have an impact on the starting grid, but it does obviously give out championship points. So it's not completely pointless, obviously, but it obviously has an impact on the championship. All right. Yeah, Friday qualifying for today's race, and Saturday's qualifying was for the sprint race. That's a pretty simple way to put it. Why are there only 19 drivers on the grid? Oh, whoops, that's my bad. I have accidentally covered up Nico Hülkenberg's thing. Just give me 1 second. I need to move that down. There we go. Nico Hülkenberg has just appeared. That was my mistake. All right. hopefully Mercedes can get in front. I'm really struggling to understand why Mercedes has gone down so much. I think it's just a combination of factors of their car. They kind of went in the wrong direction with their design philosophy. They were trying to go for 0 side pods, whereas the better strategy was to have big side pods and redirect the air using them. So Mercedes kind of headed in the wrong direction, and that's kind of why they were slow compared to everyone else. Oh yeah, no worries, Kiaz. That's pretty cool. Good luck with your exam prep. We have so we might as well talk our way up through the field. Then we have Esteban Ocon, Nico Hulkenberg, both starting from the pit lane in 19th and 20th position. Both of the drivers made setup changes, and that's why they're starting from there. We have Pierre Gasly, Nick de Vries in 17th and 18th. Both of them had crashes in qualifying, hence they're right at the back of the pack. And we'll see if they can recover, really. Yeah. Also, fun fact, so in F1, there is a rule that if you are more than 107% slower than the driver on pole position, you are technically not allowed to take part in the race. So this rule doesn't apply. So say if Max Verstappen set a lap time of 100 seconds, if your lap time was more than 107 seconds, then you would not be allowed to take part in that race. And Nick de Vries, in fact, did set a lap time that was slower, that was more than 107% slower than the pole position time of Leclerc. But what happened? The stewards obviously overruled that rule because Nick de Vries crashed, and that's why he couldn't set a fast enough lap time. So there we go. Why is Sargent there? Sargent's GPS is just broken for now. It'll fix itself once he starts moving again. But yeah, that is for lap time over in qualifying. It's 107%. Yeah. BMG 313. Good luck. Did you get your exam results yet? Well, I have more exams coming up. I did get my previous exam results, and I did pretty well. But I've got more exams. 5 exams to do in the next 2 weeks, which is going to be real fun. Yeah. So we have now got we've got 2 drivers kind of out of position. We've got Lance Stroll in 9th place. He had an issue with DRS in qualifying on Friday, so that is why he's down in 9th. And we have George Russell in 11th. He just got knocked out. It was so close, and he had a little bit of a bad lap. And yeah, the gap between himself and 10th position was like 40 milliseconds or something. It wasn't very big, to be honest. And that's why he's down in 11th place. Just got knocked out in Q2 by the finest of margins. So 2 drivers out of position. They're going to be making their way up through the pack. And then, of course, we've got lots to look forward to with the battle between Hamilton and Alonso, which I suspect will be brewing. The Mercedes and the Aston Martin pretty close to each other in terms of pace. And that will be brilliant to see. And yeah. Well, fun fact, Kiaz has applied to a racing team at university. Fingers crossed you might get it. Well, good luck with that. Keep us updated on how that goes. Yeah. All right, 5 minutes now, and let's carry on talking about the rest of the grid. So we got Guan Yu Zhou in 15th, Kevin Magnussen in 16th. Oh, also guys, if you haven't hit the like button, that would very much be appreciated. We've got nearly 500 people watching. If we could get 500 likes, that would be fantastic, because it really helps out the YouTube channel and the stream. And basically, it just tells YouTube algorithm that this stream's really good. So if you are enjoying, then be sure to hit the like button. But that's enough of a plug. 5 minutes now till lights out, and we have got Zhou, Magnussen in 15th and 16th. They'll be looking to make up a couple of places. It will be tough though because their car isn't that quick. But yeah, we'll still wait and see what they can do. The Alfa Romeo haven't been performing up to par as they were in the previous seasons. So we'll see how that works out for them and if they can make any progress up the field. And then we have Albon and Bottas in 12th and 13th, Sargent in 14th. And the thing with the 2 Williams is, the team principal of Williams, James Vowles, who was previously, of course, a Mercedes strategist, but he's now the team principal of Williams. He has said that the Williams car seems to be quicker in qualifying than it is in the race, and it looks like they're going to drop back more than... they're going to drop back from 12th and 14th position. That's what he's expecting, at least. Yeah, if James Vowles, the strategy guy from Mercedes, is saying that they're going to drop back, I'd be a fair bet to say that the Williams, the two cars will start dropping back. They really they were very quick in qualifying, but yeah, over the course of a race, just one lap pace isn't the be all and end all. You've obviously got to manage your tires, be able to have enough top straight line speed to make overtakes and defend against other drivers. But yeah. All right, then of course we have George Russell in 11th, out of position. He'll be looking to make up a couple of places off the race start, maybe go around the outside of Oscar Piastri and get ahead of Stroll. But Stroll will also be looking to make up some places. And then we've got the two McLarens in 7th and 10th position. Both of them will be... both of those drivers will be trying to score some points here. McLaren have finally brought an upgrade package, and it's worked out wonders. And they've propelled themselves up like 5-6 positions up the grid for both drivers. And we'll see if the McLarens can score points today. If they can score double points, it'll be absolutely fantastic. But with the top 10 being so competitive, it is going to be very difficult. All right. Yeah, sprint. The result of the sprint does not affect the real race. It only affects championship points. And the qualifying session that we had on Friday, that affects today's race. All right. And then we have Yuki Tsunoda up in 8th position. AlphaTauri brought a couple of upgrades. Tsunoda has had a horrible weekend so far, to be honest. No issues in qualifying, but in the practice session he had a puncture. In the race he also again had a puncture. And kind of just limping around in his car, trying to get some sort of performance out there and just not being able to do anything really. So we'll see what he can do in today's race. But we are here at the Baku Street Circuit, 6-kilometer long circuit, 20 turns, and we're actually below sea level by 28 meters below sea level. Also, guys, we have got the tire information, so I will let you know of that. But the circuit, of course, there is so much action that can happen here. Turn number 1, 2, 3, all of them pretty big overtaking opportunities. And then, yeah, the mega long straight with the DRS zones just makes it all the more exciting. All right, so the tyres that everyone has picked, it looks like everyone is out on the medium tyres in the top 17. We have De Vries starting on the hards, Esteban Ocon and Nico Hülkenberg starting on the hards. So the bottom 3 drivers are starting on the hard tyres. Everyone else is on the mediums. Yeah. All right. And also the tyres that we do have, they are the softest of the Pirelli range, C5, C4, C3. So... yeah, so the tyre wear is actually a pretty big issue here because it is 24 degrees air temperature, but the track temperature is 42 degrees Celsius. So that's extremely hot. That's 7 degrees hotter than it was yesterday. And we had Bottas coming over the radio being like, my tyres are basically melting. Yeah, because of, well, the amount of overheating he had on those soft tyres. So soft tyres are basically not a race tyre whatsoever. Nobody is going to be trying to race on soft tyres. They're all going to be doing is either the mediums or the hards for the race today. And yeah, that's what we're expecting at least. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. The expected strategy from Pirelli is start the race on the mediums and then go on to the hards, or start the race on the hards and go on to the mediums. Those are two only real strategies. There's potentials for 2 stops, of course, if you have safety cars, if you have red flags, safety car. It's always possible to do more stops, but yeah, the expected strategy, if there isn't any sort of issue like that, then it will be just a standard 1-stop race. The formation lap will be underway shortly now. Yeah, I'm surprised any of the drivers haven't moved yet. Well, as I say that, there they go. So they'll be starting the formation lap now. All right, so we have had a little bit of a vote, and 40% of you think Perez will win this race, and 60% you think he won't. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Also, we've got 1,000 people watching. If you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to hit the like button. Really does help out the channel. And if you aren't subscribed, then be sure to do that as well. But let's get back to the race then. We've got the drivers just warming around, weaving around, heating up those tyres, and getting some tyre temperature, brake temperature ready for the start of the race. All right. Hello, everyone in chat. Just to clarify, the sprint race does not decide the starting grid for today's race. It is the qualifying that happened on Friday that decides the grid for today. So if any of you are confused on why Perez isn't on pole position, that is why. Yeah. Alrighty then. Drivers just making their way through the middle sector now. It's very tight and twisty. One of the narrowest parts of the entire F1 calendar, if we're being honest. Going through turn number 8 and turn number 9, it's basically just single file. There's no chance you're going too wide, and if you do, you lose so much time, and the chance of you hitting a wall is so high. It's basically there's no point doing it. Also, there is this circuit has been extended out to 2026, so we will be racing at Baku till the minimum of 2026, and that will be well, that's always amazing to see. We've obviously got lots of great racing that we've had here, lots of action as well. So there we go. All right. So here we go then. Charles Leclerc just leading the way down onto the start-finish straight. Now just doing some burnouts, getting that rear tyre temperature up. Of course, they've got to maintain that. Leclerc starting right at the front of the pack. He's going to have to wait on the grid for about 40 seconds till everyone else parks up into their grid slot. And yeah, that's just 40 seconds. His tyres will be getting colder and colder. All right. So we'll see how he does there. But also they've got to manage their brakes as well. Going into turn number 1, if your brakes are cold, you are just going to snatch the brakes, lock up, and then go straight on like Hamilton did a couple of years ago. And that is not ideal whatsoever. So here they go then. The drivers are lining up onto their grid positions. Hello guys. Hello. Well, I mean, I've actually seen some messages. People from Vietnam, Ethiopia, Germany, Russia. Very much do appreciate everyone watching from all around the world. And I hope you enjoy the commentary. Yeah. All right. Team Tsunoda. Well, Tsunoda has had a brilliant qualifying. But yeah, let's not spam. You can type Team Tsunoda once, not 3 times. All right. Here they go then. We've got Nick de Vries pulling up to the grid position. We've got the rest of the drivers lining up at the end of the pit lane. And the lights are out, and it's lights out, and away we go. Charles Leclerc gets a great start going into turn number 1. The map's just taken a while to update, but yeah. Leclerc ahead of Max Verstappen by a significant margin, and just going through turn number 2 now, we have got Leclerc, then Verstappen, then Perez, Sainz, then Hamilton and Alonso. Stroll up 2 places, Norris losing 1, Russell with a great start, up 2 positions from him, as the drivers make their way down through now towards turn number 3. Lots of slipstream taking place. DRS will be activated in 2 laps time, so we've got a little bit of time for the drivers to break out of DRS range, but Max Verstappen will not be putting up without a fight. Yesterday, with a broken car, he was able to keep up with Charles Leclerc with a hole in his side pod. Today he has got that fixed, so we'll see what he can do, and can he catch up to the Ferrari driver. Kevin Magnussen, brilliant start from him, up 3 places. Valtteri Bottas unfortunately losing out 5 places at the start of this race. We do have a yellow flag on the circuit. I'm gonna think that is just for some debris on the track, but yeah, we do have a yellow flag on the circuit. And yeah, we're back to green because it was just some debris that has been cleared up and just pushed to the edge of the circuit. But here they go then, leading their way out of the final couple of corners, and we have Max Verstappen right on the tail of Charles Leclerc. Alright, Pierre Gasly up 2 places as well, and both Ocon and Hulkenberg, who started from the pit lane, have found their way to the back of the pack. But now here comes Max Verstappen. This is on lap number 1 of this race, slipstreaming down the back straight. Here he comes against Charles Leclerc into turn number 1. Can he make a move? Looks like he cannot. He's a bit too far back to send one in. He's playing it a little bit safe here. Does not want to risk any sort of damage or anything. But this time, yeah, very much OG Ninja said it in the chat. It's going to be like yesterday, except instead of Perez, it is going to be Max Verstappen. So we'll wait and see how long it will take Verstappen to close that gap to Leclerc and make an overtaking move. But it is very much line astern, very much everyone is single file following each other through the corners. And we're going to, DRS, once it is enabled on the next lap, we will have a couple of DRS trains forming. But already by the looks of it, Sainz is starting to drop off the back of Sergio Perez. It's, not looking ideal for the Spanish Ferrari driver. He is, well, falling back compared to Leclerc. Hasn't had the, well, both Ferrari drivers haven't had the best season, but Sainz especially not being able to keep up with Leclerc, especially this weekend. I mean, the gap in qualifying in sprint quali was 0.6 of a second. That's enormous over the course of just one lap. But yeah, we'll see what Sainz can do. Maybe in race conditions he will be slightly better. But now here comes Max Verstappen. He's as close as he was on the previous occasion. Can he make a move going through towards turn number 16? No, he cannot. It would be a bit risky and a bit stupid to go into a move at turn number 16 when you've got a 2-kilometer long straight ahead of you waiting. So that's exactly what Max Verstappen does. Waits and comes out the final corner. Here he comes pressuring Charles Leclerc coming down the start-finish straight. He is gaining loads of time with using that slipstream. But as he does, going into turn number 1, still a bit too far back. On this lap now, DRS will be enabled, and Max Verstappen firmly within the DRS range of 1 second. Now he's 0.6 behind Leclerc, so it's going to be getting harder and harder for Charles Leclerc. I will in fact just check the top speed information and see what top speeds everyone is going at. I just clicked past it. Give me 1 second, guys. So the top speeds, we have Max Verstappen 7 kilometers an hour faster than Leclerc going down the start-finish straight. Of course, that's the slipstream that's helping him out. But if that's 7 kilometers from the slipstream, 15 kilometers from the DRS, and Max Verstappen will just fly straight past Leclerc going into the next corner. So it's going to be extremely difficult for him to manage that. For Leclerc to manage that. All he can really hope for, the Ferrari has got significant amounts of pace in the slow speed corners of the middle sector, and now all he's got to do is try and extend that gap out as much as he can before Max Verstappen gets DRS. All right. So here we go then, just setting down into the race. DRS finally enabled, and we're going to see what Max Verstappen can do with the assistance of DRS on this occasion. Here they come now out of the final corner. Max Verstappen gets a brilliant run out of there. The gap is closing and closing. It is down to 0.2 of a second. He gets ahead of Leclerc just as he crosses the start-finish line, and going into turn number 1, Leclerc just does not fight it. Max Verstappen is so far ahead and can brake so much later. Leclerc is down into second place, and there is nothing he can do about it. There is a potential for a re-overtake going into turn number 3, but Leclerc is just a bit too far back to make that happen. Very unfortunate there for Charles Leclerc. So now he's got pressure behind him from Sergio Perez, and we'll see what he can do from there. But it is, extremely difficult, and we'll see what he can do. Further down the field, we have Lewis Hamilton setting the fastest lap of the race, going slightly ahead of Max Verstappen's fastest lap time, in fact, and Perez. he's got the DRS on Carlos Sainz, and that is really going to be helping him out. We had a little bit of an incident further down at the back of the field at the race start. We had Alexander Albon just get pinched at the entry of turn number 3 and hit Oscar Piastri, who went and hit someone else. So there's a little bit of a tangle at the start of this race in the mid pack, but nothing too major, and everyone came out of it free of damage. All right. So Lewis Hamilton now on the back of Carlos Sainz, purple lap, of course, and here he comes now going through turn number 15, downhill braking zone, very tricky braking zone, very easy to make a mistake, lock up. We've seen in the practice sessions, in the quali sessions, drivers just going down the escape road because it's so tough to get that perfect, and there is a little bit of a bump as well on the entry, so that makes it just that little bit more harder, but the drivers faring all right. They aren't pushing to their max absolute limit as they were in qualifying. They're going a little bit like 80%, 85% attack, of course, because they do have to conserve those tyres and make them last longer than just a couple of laps. Also, guys, the pit window is around about lap number 17-ish. The drivers will be pitting approximately around about there. But with that's what Pirelli predicted, but with the tyre temperature and the track temperature getting so hot this weekend, we could see the drivers pit slightly earlier and then maybe extend out their hard tyre stint. All right. Also, we have nearly 3,000 people watching. If you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to hit the like button. Really does help out the channel. And if you aren't subscribed, then be sure to do that as well. Is it a one-stop or a two-stop? It is definitely a one-stop race. But of course, if there is any sort of safety car, virtual safety car, that basically goes straight out the window. And yeah, I think the teams are very much prepared for it. We've had 50% of Baku races, we have had a safety car. 1/3 of races, we've had a virtual safety car or a red flag. So yeah, action is always lightly here in Baku. And yeah. All right, so DRS has been enabled. We've had a couple of trains form. So we've had Sainz all the way down to Stroll. So from 4th to 7th place, we've got Sainz, Hamilton, Alonso, and Stroll all in a bit of a train. And we're going to see how that goes for them. But by the looks of it, everyone's been a little bit neutralized, not that much overtaking going on, and everyone just sticking within everyone's DRS and just pumping in some consistent lap times, because, well, the real issue is tire wear, because if your tires wear out, then you're gonna have to do an extra pit stop, and you lose 22 seconds doing one pit stop, which is an excessive amount of time. So it's not ideal to be going in for an extra pit stop when you're not going to gain that much time as well. But yeah. All right. So Perez going into turn number 1, sorry, makes an overtake on Charles Leclerc. I kind of missed that. But yeah, so I've just got the replay here. Going into now turn number 1, Perez just looks to the inside. Leclerc does not fight it too hard. He knows that the Red Bulls are faster and there's nothing much he can do. And I think what they're trying to do is, because the Ferrari know that they aren't the fastest car, it's better off to just surrender the position and not lose too much time battling it out. Because say if Leclerc and Verstappen had a little bit of a battle, they went on battling each other for like 2 laps maybe, then Perez can catch up, Sainz can catch up, and Hamilton and Alonso, they all get a little bit closer, and that's just not what you want, really. You want to keep that gap from between you and your competitors behind you as big as possible. And Leclerc knows the best he can hope for is potentially a podium here. Race win is very much off the charts, unless we do have a Red Bull 2018 moment, and the 2 Red Bulls go and crash into each other. We could have that. Who knows? But yeah. Oh, also, what has happened to Pierre Gasly? I don't know what's happened there. Looks like he must. To be honest, he was in 19th position. I think he must have went down an escape road and have to reverse out. I will just get some information on what happened to Pierre Gasly, but it looks like it wasn't. Looks like it was no contact or anything like that. He's just gone down the escape road after locking up. Did they fix the DRS on the Astons? Well, by the looks of it, they did fix the DRS, but yeah, because Stroll is able to keep up with Alonso. And yeah, but the thing with the DRS for the Aston Martin is that it's not like they fixed it once, it's going to remain fixed forever. It could break at any moment. So if there's a bit too much vibrations and the car goes over curbs too violently, that could cause a failure. And yeah, we don't really know. So yeah. All right. Stroll has just come over the radio saying he's not going to attack Fernando Alonso. So he's either saying, I'm not going to attack him, tell him to get out of the way, or tell him to pick up the pace, really. So that's what Stroll's trying to say over the radio. Also, we do have a purple first sector from Carlos Sainz, going quite significantly faster than Charles Leclerc and the rest of the field, to be honest. And yeah, it's a little bit interesting. We got Verstappen fastest through the middle sector. The team's looking to pick up the pace a little bit here. They have been conserving their tyres, but of course the entire race isn't going to be tyre conservation. Yeah. All right. Perez now with the fastest lap of the race. And he is now 1 second behind Max Verstappen, so he's actually looking to catch up. Perez, who won the sprint race yesterday, was quicker in qualifying on Saturday, seems to have the pace to catch up to Max Verstappen, and we could get a Red Bull 2018 moment. That would be, I mean, I don't want to wish harm upon Red Bull, but it would be quite nice to see a little bit of an incident there. And maybe we'll get a different surprise winner. Are the Red Bulls free to race each other? That is something we do not know yet. I will be keeping an eye out on the team radio to see if anything's going to happen, but nothing has come through just as of yet. And Alonso has just come over the radio and said, "Oh, Stroll can attack me if he wants. I'm not going to give the place up that for free." So, yeah, a little bit of tension brewing there between the two Aston Martin drivers, and we'll see how that works out for them. But Stroll's dropped out of DRS range, and in fact, by the looks of it, everyone in the top 10 is not within DRS range of anyone else. We have a couple of drivers coming into the pits. I mean, the medium tyres must be pretty horrible if we've got Albon, Gasly and Bottas all into the pits. I think Gasly had a bit of an issue, flat spotted his tyres and then had to come into the pits. But Bottas and Albon also coming in for an extremely early pit stop, lap number 8 and lap number 7 of 51. That means they're going to have to go at least 40 laps on one set of hard tyres. I think they might be going for a 2-stop race, really. Yeah, because if they do go for a 2-stop race, they can pit whenever there's a safety car or a virtual safety car. I think they're kind of banking on that fact. Bottas was punted into T1. Okay. So he might have got a bit of a slow puncture there from Valtteri Bottas, but yeah, that's the issue, really. We'll see how that works out for them. They're kind of relying on a safety car because if you pit under normal conditions, you lose 20 seconds of time, and if you pit under virtual safety car conditions or safety car conditions, you only lose 11 seconds. So they're hoping for that 9-second just free time given to them by virtual safety car. And we'll just that's really dependent on luck right now. So we'll just see how that works out for them. But now we do have a fastest lap of the race from Max Verstappen. So Perez replying. But the thing is, Verstappen isn't even that much faster. He only goes 6 milliseconds faster than Perez. Both drivers pretty much identical on lap times. And here they are now coming through the middle sector. If Perez can hold it together and not lose too much time to dirty air, he might be able to stay within DRS range. And we could see some feisty little action between the two Red Bulls. And yeah, let's see how that goes. All right. We do have some more drivers coming to pits. We got Tsunoda, Piastri, Sargent all coming into the pits. It looks like some teams are switching on to the other strategy. We have 7 degrees higher track temperature, and 7 degrees is nothing to be it went from 35 to 42 degrees, and that's a pretty significant margin, especially when the tires have such a small operating window. Yeah, it's very, very important for the teams to adapt to their conditions, and they're doing just that. They're coming in for early pit stops now. Now they are very much hoping that they will get a safety car or something to propel them out, because it is 100% slower to do a 2-stop race. Maybe in these conditions it might be closer because of the high tyre wear, but still, nevertheless, it is slower. And here comes Sergio Perez in fastest lap of the race. He got DRS in the final sector, 4/10 gained in the final sector alone for Sergio Perez with the DRS, and he's firmly now in the slipstream. Yeah. All right. Ferrari indeed out of DRS of Sergio Perez, but here comes now. So this we're gonna have a little bit of a battle here up at the front of the field. Everyone else kind of spread out. We do have a couple of battles going on down in 10th, 11th, and 12th. But I suspect you guys are a little bit more interested in what's happening up at the top. Oh, we do have a yellow flag on the circuit. Looks like someone might be going slowly. Oh no, never mind. It's just switched back to a green flag. Yeah, just the marshals probably saw a little bit of debris and then cleared it up straight away. Well, look at this. Kevin Magnussen just stopped on the side of the track. Oh, it looks like he's got going again. So that's all right. Okie dokie. Lots of drivers now coming into pits. So we have got Hamilton as well. Hamilton first of the front runners to come into the pits. Then Norris as well. All right. Ooh, we've got Nick de Vries now stopped at turn number 7. This is all kicking off. We've got another set of yellow flags. I think this one's going to stay out for a bit longer. But Nick de Vries now stopped at turn number 6 and 7. That corner is pretty tricky, especially you've got to have a pretty good change of direction. And yeah, you can easily lose your car when you're switching from having a steering wheel always having your steering wheel all the way to the left to when you're turning it all the way to the right. You could just lose a little bit of traction, a little bit of grip, and lose the car. So Nick de Vries still stuck there, and we do have yellow flags, and it is a full safety car, guys. Full safety car is out, and we have got Max Verstappen coming into the pits just as the safety car comes out. I don't think he will gain all of the time that he did. But yeah, Red Bull as well. When the two drivers about to start battling each other, Red Bull's like, all right, you can come into the pits now. We've had enough. We've had enough of your little games, and we're going to pull one of you into the pits. But it is currently safety car conditions, and I suspect all of the drivers that have pitted as of now, so we've had Verstappen, Hamilton, Norris, Tsunoda, Piastri, all of these drivers are going to lose out because the drivers now currently in the top 6, they're all going to get a free pit stop, come out, and with a free 9 seconds to their race time. All right, so as the safety car has come out, all the drivers will be doing a final completion of their lap, and we're going to see where the final standings are, where the drivers come out onto the pack. But this will be interesting because if we see, say, well, we will have a little bit of a battle. I think if Verstappen is behind Perez, and because Perez is going to gain some free time into the pit stop, free time through the safety car, then he could then we could have Verstappen chasing down Perez for the lead of this race. That'd be brilliant to see. But yeah, okay, so we have Nick de Vries locked up, and his car is just stuck there on the side of the track. So that is why we have a full safety car. Yeah. All right. So here they come then. Sergio Perez coming out of the final corner. And does he go into the pit lane? Does he get his tyres changed and come out? Well, he's going to come out in 3rd place. He's going to come out like how many seconds ahead of yeah, he's going to come out 13 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen. So here goes Sergio Perez into the pits, Charles Leclerc into the pits. Do Ferrari do a double stack? I mean, it would be ridiculous. The gap between the two drivers is a bit too close for that. Well, Ferrari go for it. Actually, no, the gap is 6 seconds, but under the safety car, the gap got pretty extended out. But now Alonso into the pits as well. I suspect Stroll as well. Yeah, Aston Martin doing a double stack. And then Guan Yu Zhou, I presume, will also come into the pits. Everyone just coming into the pits now, getting their tyres switched out. And Perez comes out of the pits and re-emerges in the lead of this race. Where does Verstappen come out? He comes out in 3rd position. Will Sainz beat Verstappen out of the pit lane? It's going to be close, but yeah, no, Verstappen is ahead of Carlos Sainz. So Verstappen only losing out 1 position due to this safety car incident. And So as everyone re-emerges out of the pit lane, our standing is Sergio Perez in first, Charles Leclerc in second, Max Verstappen in third, Sainz in fourth, Alonso in fifth, Russell in sixth, Stroll in seventh, Ocon in eighth, Hülkenberg in ninth, and Hamilton in 10th. All right. So that has been the first round of pit stops. So basically everyone, only Ocon and Hülkenberg are yet to pit. Both of those drivers, having done 11 laps on their hard tyres, they started the race on those tyres and have been driving along pretty nicely, and they won't be coming in for a pit stop anytime soon. Nick de Vries, unfortunately, is out of this race. Can we get an F in the chat for Nick de Vries? He had an issue and then had to stop on the side of the track, and he is out. All right. Also, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, be sure to hit the like button. It really does help out the channel. And yeah, hope you're enjoying. And now we've got, I think, how many laps have we got left? We've got around 40 laps left still to commentate. 40 laps more of action, which will be brilliant to see. All right. So here we go then. Under the safety car, drivers just behind safety car, not trying to hit each other, just keeping their tyre temperature up. What happened to Hamilton? Just got screwed over by the safety car. Pit before the safety car, lost a whole bunch of time compared to everyone else, really. That's about all I can say. Yeah. All right. So what else is going on the circuit? Well, let's see which drivers have gained from this safety car, which drivers haven't. But the biggest gainer, of course, is Sergio Perez, because once this restart does happen, I don't think Perez is going to be under any pressure from Leclerc. If he gets the restart correctly and Leclerc just has an average restart, then Perez will have a significant advantage going into turn number one. He's kind of just going to run away with it. The Ferrari doesn't really have a chance. And then Verstappen is going to be stuck behind Leclerc. And the other thing to remember is, even on the sprint race yesterday, on the race today, both times Verstappen did need DRS to overtake Charles Leclerc. So once the safety car comes in, 2 more laps have to be completed until DRS is enabled. And those 2 laps are going to be time for Sergio Perez to just run away with this as much as he possibly can. So yeah, those 2 laps after safety car restart are going to be the most critical to Perez's race if he is going to win. And yeah, there is no safety car on the map. I don't know, I think they just took it away with a new version. But yeah, I mean, you can kind of tell as where Perez is where the safety car is, basically. Yeah. Also, yeah, Nick de Vries, he didn't have a issue. Well, he did. His brakes obviously were on fire, but his brakes were on fire because he crashed into the wall. Also, we did have a little bit of pit lane shenanigans. So when Aston Martin were doing a double stack, what they did was they told Stroll to slow down. I think maybe some of you guys have seen it. Vettel overtaking a driver in the pit lane. This was back in like 2014 or something. But effectively what happened was that Stroll was told to slow down by Aston Martin, and because if Stroll went in too quickly, he would lose a whole bunch of time in the double stack. So he was like, all right, slow down, make the drivers behind you slow down as well. But Russell knows that little fine print in the rules saying you're allowed to overtake in the pit lane entry. So just before getting into the pit lane, George Russell came side by side with Lance Stroll, and well, had a great and gained some time and ended up ahead of him. All right, guys, so that is it. Safety car is in this lap, and we have got Sergio Perez leading the way for the restart. I suspect he's going to be going fairly slowly as of now. Doesn't want to go too early, because that just means Leclerc will have more time to slipstream him down the start-finish straight. So everyone getting very, very compressed right in front of each other, head to toe. And Sergio Perez is going at the latest possible moment. Right as he crosses the finish line, he hits that accelerator pedal, and the gap to Leclerc already 0.8 of a second. If Verstappen can make a move now, this is going to be critical to his race. And here he goes round the outside of turn number 1, going into turn number 2. Can he make it round? Yes, he can. Leclerc and Verstappen side by side now going down into turn number 3, sorry, and Leclerc backs out of it. There is no point in him fighting. Alonso up ahead of Carlos Sainz, and we got Alonso up into 4th position. Brilliant restart from him. Hamilton got screwed over by the safety car, but on the restart, up 2 places as well. Great restart for him, but Perez 1.3 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen, and he will be leading the way now. And all he has to do is maintain that gap to seal the deal and lead this and win this race. But of course, we've got another 35 laps of racing left to go. Anything can happen, and we'll wait and see what does. All right, so here they are, everyone very much single file, no chance of overtaking through the middle sector. It's very tight and twisty, one of the narrowest parts on the entire calendar. And we have got now Sergio Perez fastest through the middle sector. Of course, he hasn't got any dirty air or anything like that stopping him. And here he is going. We could potentially, I don't think they're going to do team orders to favour Max, because I don't think Max wants to win through team orders. And the other thing is, it's a bit early in the championship to be like, okay. And the thing is, Red Bull are so far ahead of everyone else in the championship. They've got like 10 times more than the 5th place constructor. So if we just look at the standings here, yeah, Verstappen is on 75 points, Perez is on 62. You're in no position to say Verstappen can, give the race win to Verstappen because he's doing better. Like, both drivers are equally in the championship. And it doesn't really matter as long as both of them don't crash into each other and ruin each other's race. Red Bull are more than double the points of Aston Martin, and Aston Martin are in 2nd place. But yeah, all right. So here we go. Sergio Perez is fastest lap of the race, goes nearly a full second faster than Verstappen on that previous occasion, and the gap is 1.5 seconds now, and we'll just have to see what Verstappen can do. Can he maintain that gap? Can he close up? But Hamilton now overtakes Russell as well off the restart, gains 2 positions, overtakes his teammate as well. Russell will look to fight this back, I think, because the Mercedes duo, they are fairly evenly matched, and I don't think Hamilton's going to be running away with this anytime soon. And yeah, Fernando Alonso as well, fallen off the back of Charles Leclerc, not being able to keep up, and the gap is 1.3 seconds, and we'll see what he can do, and can he manage that, or is Fernando Alonso going to get a 3rd podium? Who knows? Who knows? All right. Yes. Also, both McLarens, they brought a pretty big upgrade package this weekend. They were hoping to be strong, and they did turn out to be strong in qualifying. They have dropped back now a couple of places in 11th and 13th. I think the McLaren car is definitely faster than Nico Hülkenberg in 10th position, potentially equal to the Alpine. And we're just going to see how that plays out, really. Is Hülkenberg going to be able to hold ahead of Norris? Thing is, as long as Hülkenberg has DRS with Ocon, Norris isn't going to get that much of a top speed advantage down the straight. So, yeah. That's not gonna Norris won't be able to overtake with just that. So Hülkenberg has to fall back off the back of Ocon, and then Norris has to be able to make a move. Otherwise, Norris seems to be stuck in 11th position for now. DRS has been enabled now, and yeah, we do have both drivers now at the front of the field. They're going to be very much trading fastest laps. I suspect for the next couple of laps it'll be you have a fastest lap, you have a fastest lap. Everyone gets a fastest lap. Because, yeah, Perez and Verstappen, fastest first sector for Perez, fastest lap for Max Verstappen. They're just going to be trading blows. The gap is 1.6 seconds. Both drivers doing their utmost best. Well, Perez doing his utmost best to maintain it, and Verstappen doing his utmost best to reduce it. And we'll see how that plays out. But it seems like everyone is slowly breaking out of DRS range. The gap between Perez and Verstappen, 1.5 seconds. Leclerc and Alonso, 1.3 seconds. Alonso and Sainz 1.1, Sainz and Stroll 1.1. Nobody is they have to get that little bit closer and get that DRS range. Otherwise, otherwise it's going to be quite a boring race. But yeah, it's a little bit too early to say that. Of course, we do have a battle up at the front for first position. Hamilton as well, putting some pressure on Lance Stroll. Fastest third sector, gets a mega toe. And yeah, unfortunately can't make a move into turn number 1, but he's gained so much time through that final sector. Goes 0.3 faster in the final sector alone compared to Stroll. And Kevin Magnussen sets the fastest third sector. Wow. I don't know how he's done that. I mean, well, he's obviously done that through a massive toe that he got off Guan Yu Zhou. But, yeah. All right, fastest lap of the race, once again, for Max Verstappen. But it's not that much faster than Perez. Perez is basically matching him. The gap, the gap between the fastest lap from Verstappen and the fastest lap from Perez is 21 milliseconds. So unless Max Verstappen can maintain 21 milliseconds for the entire race, he's not going to close that gap up to Sergio Perez. But yeah, the drivers very much now just settling into this race, this long stint that they've got, and they've kind of got to assess now because the teams, the thing is, they either have the strategy of of doing one more pit stop or extending this stint out for as long as humanly possible. Now, Pirelli have said that you can go 40 laps at a max on these medium tyres. So by the time the drivers do get to the end of the race, they will have done 40 laps exactly, but I don't think Pirelli accounted for the fact that track temperatures today are 42 degrees Celsius. That is, I think one of the highest track temperatures that we've had at Baku. And, that's going to throw a spanner into the works, and the team strategists will be working very, very hard to try and figure out what they can do, which strategy will be faster. But, maybe Red Bull repeats 2018. I mean, we don't really know. Also, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, be sure to hit the like button. That really does help out the channel. And if you are enjoying as well, then be sure to subscribe. I do commentate all of the races and all the qualifying sessions for the Grand Prix. So, if you're enjoying, then very much is appreciated. A subscription is very much appreciated. All right, what happened in 2018? Well, it's funny you asked. We had this exact situation with Red Bull leading. Oh no, I don't think Red Bull were leading the race. Red Bull were in. Actually, I don't remember what position Red Bull were in, but basically, the two Red Bull drivers, Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo, were battling away for quite a long period of time, several laps for sure. They were battling away, trying to get ahead of each other. And they just got a little bit too close, and one of the drivers moved a little bit too late in the braking zone, and they both ended up crashing into each other, and then went straight. They locked up down the pit straight going into turn number 1. Both of the drivers go straight ahead. Both of them DNF out the race, and Red Bull, that were on for some very, very good points, both drivers DNF'd after crashing into each other. So we could see a potential repeat, but I think Perez and Verstappen now a little bit more level-headed than the younger Verstappen and the younger Daniel Ricciardo in that situation. I think especially in 2018, Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen were pretty feisty with each other because they were trying to prove to Red Bull that, I'm the faster driver, you should prioritize me over him. And both of them were trying to do that, and that kind of bowled over a little bit too much. And they both ended up crashing into each other. Whereas in this situation, we know Red Bull prefers Verstappen, and Perez is the driver that's got to prove something. We may see something like that, but I think Perez and Verstappen, both of them, a little bit more matured, and will make the sensible choice of just not crashing into each other. All right. Lap number 19 of 51. We're coming up to, we've got past the third of the race, but we're now coming up to the halfway point as well. And the gap, once again, between the top two drivers, 1.7 seconds. Very consistent indeed. And and Perez and Verstappen very, very close on lap time as well. Also, I don't know who said this in chat, but let me just scroll up and find out. In fact, it was someone. 21 milliseconds is basically just a little bit of wind affecting your car. Like if you had a little bit of wind, a little bit of a tailwind going down the straight, then you're going to gain 21 milliseconds. So the gap between these drivers, like 75 milliseconds, is basically nothing. That's like getting on the throttle like a tiny bit earlier, having a little bit extra tailwind going down the straight. So there we go. Do you think K-Mag will be in F1 long after his contract runs out? Well, K-Mag is a pretty consistent driver. We know he's good in the midfield. But I think the real question is, he's definitely talented enough to be in F1, but is there a team that will want to sign him that hasn't already got like an academy thing? Because Alpine, they've got their academy team. McLaren, Williams, they're all like testing that they're related to the Mercedes driver academy. Alfa Romeo, Haas, they're all related to the Ferrari driver academy, so maybe they will put someone new in instead of Kevin Magnussen. But yeah, K-Mag it's a little bit of a threat, but for now he's got a contract, and if he performs well, then Haas will continue with him. Also, Hamilton has made a move on Lance Stroll. It's been a couple of laps since we've had an overtake, but Hamilton going through into turn number 1 makes the overtake on Lance Stroll, and now is up into 6th position. Stroll has the opportunity to fight back, but it's going to be pretty tough. He's in a bit of a Mercedes sandwich now, and yeah. All right. Now going through we've done 10 laps or so on these hard tyres, and they are looking, the drivers very much not attacking as much as they usually do. Even Perez and Verstappen, they've looked to back off slightly, because if they are going to go fastest lap of the race, they are going to wear these tyres out and potentially go for a 2-stop, which I think the Red Bulls can easily pull off and still win the race. But yeah, why would you do that when you can win the race by just conserving your tyres? It's just a little bit more risk doing that extra pit stop. Something else can go wrong. You can get caught up in traffic and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, there we go. All right. We've got 6,000 people watching. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Very much do appreciate all your support. Hope you are enjoying the stream and the commentary. Also, guys, do remember to stay hydrated. I'm just going to have a quick drink because my throat is going to start to hurt. All right. So back at the front of the pack, gap down to 1.3 seconds. I will be talking about this gap quite often. You could probably play a drinking game about every time I talk about a gap. But yeah, do you think Perez can stay ahead of Max Verstappen? Well, I think Perez definitely has the pace. If it continues like this way and we don't have any sort of tyre wear, then we could definitely see Perez ending up winning this race. But we obviously don't live in a perfect world where there is no tyre wear, and we could see maybe Perez's tyres wear out faster than Verstappen's, and Perez then has to concede the position. But who knows? Actually, you know what? Let's do a vote. So I will create a vote, start a poll. Who is going to win this race? Also, Kaka Silva, thank you for the donation. Very much do appreciate it. But yes, I do agree with you. It is slightly boring. Well, in fact, saying that, it's slightly boring. The gap now down to 1.1 seconds. So I mean, maybe Verstappen's gonna get within DRS range, and it will be a little bit more exciting. But yeah, it's surprising Baku hasn't given us that much action. Who knows? I mean, we've still got half the race left to go, guys. So it would be a bit early to call it boring. Yes, maybe there are a couple of boring laps, but who knows what will happen. All right. Who will win, Verstappen or Perez? So go ahead and you guys can vote on that. And yeah. All right. Okie dokes. Can you turn your mic volume up? Yeah, I'll turn it up a little bit more. Just trying to not get too much static, because the more I turn up the volume, the more static gets picked up. And yeah, there's got to be a little bit of a balance there. But yeah. All right. Lando Norris as well. Well, also another thing to point out is everyone has done their pit stops apart from Ocon and Hulkenberg. They've started the race on the hard tires. They're gonna probably continue for at least another 10 laps or so, and then pit onto the medium tires maybe. But who knows really, because the medium tires, as we know, aren't really that good of a race tire. We could see. Because most drivers only did 10 laps on them. Of course, as the fuel load goes down, there's less weight in the car, which means less tyre wear. But I don't know how significant that of a factor that will be. And potentially we could have the drivers do 2 stints on hard and then just pit onto the mediums right at the end of this race, because they're not a good race tyre. Also, guys, would like to point out the gap 1.083 seconds. So Verstappen just edging that little bit closer every single time down the start-finish straight. He gets closer and closer. Once he does go into the braking zone, of course, it does get harder to gain time. But look at this, it's 50-50. We've had 500 votes, and Max, half of you think Verstappen, half of you think Perez. Well, there you go. It's all up in the air. It's just gone to 51-49 now. Well, if you guys haven't voted, then you might as well just put that back up to 50-50. That would be brilliant. But Bottas on 2 pit stops already. Yeah, Bottas had a little bit of an issue at the start of this race, and they came in for an early pit stop, and then under the safety car as well. Just came in for another pit stop. I think probably because he wanted to get a front wing adjustment or something, because when you switch from the medium to the hard tires, the amount of the grip distribution isn't equal. So usually when you switch to a softer compounder tire, you get more rear end grip. When Bottas switched from the medium to the hard, he lost a little bit of rear end grip, and then to compensate for that, he also wants to lose a little bit of front end grip as well, and balance the car out. So for him to do that, he's going to have to modify the front wing angle, and so he had an extra set of hard tires. So then I think he just came into the pits during the safety car and modified his front wing angle. That would have helped him out during for the rest of the race, really, and made the car a little bit more drivable. All right. Is the Red Bull 19 the most dominant car in F1 history? I would say that. I'd say a no with a resounding no. I think Vettel in 2013 won 9 races in a row. I mean, who's not to say Red Bull are going to do that this year? But yeah, that Red Bull was very much on another level. I think Vettel paired in that Red Bull, the Vettel and Red Bull combo in 2013 was on another level. I mean, I think Michael Schumacher in 2004, the Mercedes in 2014, they've all been pretty dominant cars, to be honest. Savage Guy asks, what mic do you use? It's good quality. I use a Behringer XM 1800 with a UMC 22. So if you are a person who knows about audio, then that's the mic I use. And yeah, that's the DAC I use as well. But yeah, it's a pretty good professional quality mic, and I'm holding it in my hand as well. Before I used to have it on a stand, but it's a bit more comfortable to just talk into a mic that you're holding. And it didn't even cost that much, in fact, as well. But anyway, back to the point. We have the gap between the Red Bulls and the rest of the field. I mean, you can see this on the map. The gap is absolutely enormous. And they are basically at least 4 or 5 corners ahead every single time. And yeah, that's basically what's going on there. What happened to Pierre Gasly? Pierre Gasly has done an extra pit stop, so that's why he's so far back down the field. I don't know why he's done an extra pit stop, to be honest with you. I will try and find out. But yeah, a bit strange to do a pit stop when he's already on hard tyres. And I don't think they would have worn out by now, because he's only done 10 or so laps on them, 10, 15 laps. So Yeah, no, it's just said that he pitted for another set of hard tyres. No reason why. So he's just having a bit of a bad race there, Pierre Gasly. I mean, he had a bad qualifying, of course, had that incident, started the race in P18, I think, P18, P17, and then just couldn't really make much progress because, just didn't have the pace for it. All right. Dominic, thank you for pointing out. Wait, who was it? Oh, the chat is moving a little bit too fast for me to keep up. All right. How close does Max need to be to enable DRS? He needs to be within 1 second. So he's currently within 1.5. But yeah. All right. Yeah, it looks like the record that Azerbaijan has of like really interesting races might go away. I mean, of course, in 2021 we had a brilliant race, 2018 brilliant race, 2017 as well, another brilliant race. So, you know, it's not. Maybe it's a bit of a hit and miss. Who really knows? How close are Hamilton and Sainz? Well, it is nearly 1 second. If Hamilton can just gain a tiny little bit of time coming out of one of these corners, he will get DRS on Carlos Sainz and then end up, gaining on him down the straight. So we'll see what happens there for Lewis Hamilton. He is just within DRS range, but of course there's no DRS detection point anymore. So, yeah, going through turn number 2, if he gets the detection point, then he will have DRS. That'll help him out, but it looks like he's not going to have it. 1.1 seconds is a gap as he goes through the detection point, and it's not great. What happened to Nick? I joined the stream late. So Nick de Vries, he crashed into the wall at turn number 5. The wall is exactly at the apex. If you go like 10 centimeters off the apex, you hit the wall. And that's exactly what Nick de Vries did. He got too close to the apex, too close to the wall, had a crash, broke his front suspension, and then couldn't steer the car. So that's why he's out of this race. And yeah. All right. Is Max falling back? No, I mean, it's just been hovering around 1.6 seconds, hasn't it? 1.6, 1.5. Sometimes it dips down a little bit if, say, Perez made a mistake or something, but both Red Bulls very equally matched, and we saw this in qualifying as well. In the actual qualifying, Verstappen was slightly ahead of Perez. In the sprint qualifying, Perez was slightly ahead of Verstappen. So there's nothing really much to split the drivers. Both drivers, Perez on 14-lap old hard tyres, Verstappen on 15-lap old hard tyres. There's no difference between the tyres either. The same car, the same sort of performance from either of them. I presume they have a pretty similar setup as well. So there's nothing differentiating the two drivers, because usually, say, like with the Ferrari is faster in the slow speed corners, so they can gain time in the slow speed and then maybe get some DRS to help them along in the top speed sections. But with both cars so equally matched, there's no singular point where you can gain upon the other driver. You kind of have to rely on a mistake or just use a whole bunch of battery. But yeah. All right, who has the fastest lap at the moment? Max Verstappen has the fastest lap. If any of you are wondering how the fastest lap thing works, it's just whichever driver has a purple box next to their number, they have the fastest lap of the race. So there we are. All right, Fernando Alonso doing a great job in 4th place. Leclerc still in 3rd, potentially on his way to a podium. I don't want to curse that though, because Leclerc's had some horrible luck, and yeah, it wouldn't be ideal to put a commentator's curse on that. Also, on unrelated news, because this race has not got the most action we've ever seen. Charles Leclerc released a single on Spotify. It's called Oz 23, which stands for Australia 23, of course, which was a horrible weekend for him. And it's just a little bit of a piano piece, really, and it's quite nice. It's in fact number 6, I think, on the iTunes album or something, iTunes standings. But yeah, I mean, you really know a race is real interesting when we start talking about a driver's musical endeavors. So here we are. Um, right. Well, I think Alonso definitely has the chance. He has the potential to maybe catch up to Leclerc. It really depends on the time management. We know that the Ferrari is not that great on his tires, so we could see over the course of a couple of laps, like over maybe like the next 5-10 laps, the Ferrari's pace drops a little bit more and more, and Leclerc, well, loses time compared to Alonso, and we could see a little bit of a battle there, and we could see Alonso up in third place. Um, but yeah, all right. So let's see what else is going on the circuit. Not that much going on, to be honest. Not that much going on. We will see Ocon and Hulkenberg pit very, very soon, and we'll see how that works out for them. And yeah, alrighty, guys. If you are enjoying the stream, be sure to hit the like button. It really does help out the channel. We've got nearly 6,000 people, well, 6,400 people or so watching. And if you haven't subscribed as well, that would be fantastic if you did so. But let's get back to the race and see what's going on. Yeah, we'll see. In fact, let's just get up the Pirelli strategy information of what Pirelli said, what the ideal strategy would be. Well, of course, Pirelli said start the race on the mediums, go on to the hards. But I think Pirelli said you would you'd start pitting a lot later. Yeah, Pirelli said you would pit around lap number 17 or so. Between lap number 13 and 20, we saw pit stops starting at lap number 10 and lap number 8. So yeah, these hard tyres can definitely last. They can go 40 laps or so, but it's extremely difficult to manage them, especially with these higher temperatures as well. And it's gonna be tough, but we'll see what happens. And yeah, all right, we've got Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg's actually dropped out of DRS of Esteban Ocon, so Norris now actually has a chance to make a move, put himself up into the top 10. And he's within DRS range as well. So this is all green lights for Lando Norris. Now going through the first sector, he will have DRS going down this next straight, and he will be looking to catch up to Nico Hulkenberg. Yeah. Also, guys, remember to stay hydrated. Just have a quick drink. I'm also gonna have a quick drink. Just give me 1 sec. All right, yeah, the gap between Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez extended out to just 2.3 seconds. And if we're looking at where all that gap came from, that came from the first sector. Verstappen, 6/10 slower in the first sector. I don't think Max is saving tyres. I think it must have just been a mistake from him, because in the remaining sectors, he's identical. Well, pretty much identical to Perez's time. So yeah, he's 6/10 slower just in the first sector alone. So it seems to me that he made a little bit of a mistake there. And that is why he is that far back. Well, not that far back, but you know what I mean. He's 2.4 seconds back rather than the 1.5. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Perez seems to be the king of the streets. Yeah. Also, guys, do let me know what your favourite circuit is on the F1 calendar, or any circuit that you would like to see on the F1 calendar, because I would very much say I'd love to see the Nürburgring circuit, not obviously the entire Nordschleife, but the Nürburgring GP circuit, or the Hockenheimring as well. Races in Germany would be brilliant, and the Suzuka circuit is, well, of course, great to drive. But yeah, Monaco as well. Monaco is pretty iconic. And Monza and Spa. Yeah, Malaysia. Malaysia would be brilliant to see. The circuit was so wide. It was like you could go 5 cars wide at Malaysia. And the threat of constant thunderstorms and all of that, it was, it makes the races really exciting. So Malaysia could definitely be another opportunity for them to to do a race there. The Indian Grand Prix as well. That'd be pretty cool. Vettel obviously has that record of winning every single Indian Grand Prix that occurred. But yeah, Zandvoort as well. Zandvoort's of course, yeah, all the Dutch fans love to see Max Verstappen there, and it very much becomes like a festival. Yeah. All right. So now Sergio Perez, fastest lap of the race, and Max Verstappen is 2/10 behind him on this occasion. Not 2/10 behind him on the race, 2/10 behind him on that lap. And we'll see how that goes for him. Yeah, Spa holds a special first circuit. Oh, first circuit you've driven. Wow. You've driven the Spa circuit. That is fantastic. The actual first race I watched was, in fact, Spa 2018, the one where Vettel won. It was quite a boring race, in fact, but I guess I just carried on watching Formula 1 anyway. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Kailami in South Africa. That would make F1 truly an international sport on all of the different continents. That would be brilliant to see as well. Yeah. Alrighty, guys. So let's see, the gap between Alonso and Leclerc, 1.1 seconds. We could see, as well, I guess I kind of predicted this. Ferrari were going to start to wear out their tyres slightly quicker. And now we have Fernando Alonso on the back of Charles Leclerc. So we could see Alonso make a move and, well, catch up. And yeah, so that's something to look out for. Russell as well, catching up to the back of Stroll. And yeah. All right. We've got Max Verstappen with the fastest lap of the race. And this is a bit weird. Both Perez and Verstappen have got the fastest lap. I think both of them have set the exact same lap time for their fastest lap of the race. If I'm not mistaken, that is why it's slightly glitched, and we've got Perez and Verstappen both with the fastest lap, which is a bit interesting. But, you know, as we said, both drivers, same setup, same car, pretty much identical driving style. Well, not identical driving styles, but the lap times they're setting are identical. And the point was just proven. Yeah. What is the gap between Russell and Stroll? It is 1.2 seconds. So we'll see what he can do, really. But yeah, it's pretty difficult. But we'll see how that goes. All right, we are approaching now the two-thirds of the way through the race now. And the gap hovering at 2.4 seconds for between Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. Yeah. All right. So, what else is going on the circuit? We've got Norris closing up to the back of Hülkenberg, and Hülkenberg, in fact, getting close to DRS range of Esteban Ocon. So that might help him out, be a bit of a saving grace for him, to prevent Norris from overtaking him down the straight. But yeah, apart from that, we might see Hülkenberg and Ocon come into the pit soon. But yeah, it's pretty like trying to do 20 laps or something on those medium tyres when everyone else was struggling to do 10 will be a bit of a challenge in of itself. So I suspect they're going to go try and extend out this stint as much as they possibly can, and then they'll pit later. But for you McLaren fans looking to score some points, when Ocon and Hülkenberg both do inevitably pit, they will come out in like pretty much right at the back of the pack. So yeah, Norris will move up into ninth place, and will be scoring some points. So if two drivers set the same fastest lap, do they both get the point or no one gets? I think it will just be the driver that set the fastest lap point first, because that's usually how it works in who sets that lap time first, because in qualifying as well, that's the rule. If they both set identical lap times, whoever set it first gets to start the higher up position. So I suspect whoever sets the fastest one, whoever sets it first gets the fastest lap. And that, I guess that also makes sense as well, because say if someone sets a 131.5 and then 5 laps later another driver sets a 131.5, the other driver has 5 laps less fuel in his car, which means the car is significantly lighter as well. Well, not significantly, but slightly lighter, which will help him out. So it's probably harder to set that lap time earlier on in the race. And that's usually why we see the lap times go down from like the 148s and stuff at the start of the race all the way down to the 145s that we are seeing right now. And they will continue tumbling till we get to the final lap. All right. What is the recommended tyre strategy? The recommended tyre strategy is start the race on the mediums, switch on to the hards, and then go right to the end. So that's what everyone has seemed to have done. And yeah. Oh, also guys, I was wondering, what do you guys think of the channel logo? Because I'm pretty sure I designed the channel logo back in like 2020 in about 15 minutes. And I might get a new one, but I was just wondering what your guys' thoughts are on that. If there is anything to change, then what would you change? I'm kind of just going to go for a little bit more of a fancy font, to be honest. Not fancy, but like a more handwritten-esque font, and it'll say F1 Gamer maybe instead of F1 GP. But yeah, it's not particularly the most important news right now. All right, Norris onto the back of Hülkenberg, 6/10 now, and Norris also has a pretty big tyre advantage as well. He is 7 laps fresher hard tyres, and yeah, the more and more tyre wear you do, those 7 laps become more and more significant. And we're going to have Norris slowly closing up to Hülkenberg. I think Norris is making a couple of mistakes here and there in the first sector as well. Yeah, significantly slower than everyone else ahead of him, and yeah, it's gonna be tough, but we'll see what you can do. All right, Max Verstappen with the fastest lap of the race now, gap 2.2 seconds, and we have got 17 laps left to go. So now it is 17 laps like there was, not 17 laps, 16 laps, but it's now, as long as a sprint race, that's how many laps that we've got left. One sprint race worth of laps. Yeah. And now we do have 55% of you are voting for 55% of you are voting for Sergio Perez to win this race, and I suspect it is going that way. With that gap, with that little mistake Max made in the first sector, and the gap really hasn't decreased since. So Perez is doing a pretty nice job there of just hanging on to that advantage that he did have. Yeah. All right. Can drivers open DRS in the first 2 laps after a red flag? No, they cannot. DRS will be disabled for the first 2 laps after the red flag, and the same will be said for a safety car, and then I think it's the first 3 laps for the actual race start. Yeah. Will there be another pit stop? Well, that's the question we've all been asking, really. But I think it's a little bit too late to go out for another pit stop now. Because if you were going to do another pit stop, you probably would have done it like 5-6 laps ago and then gone on to the hard tyres. That would have been faster. So yeah, I think the teams have kind of committed to a 1-stop now, and it's if they try and switch to a 2-stop, they're just going to lose out, which is not what they want to do, of course. And yeah, how do they decide for the number of laps for a sprint? Well, it's good that you asked that. So I don't know actually how many people know this, but every single Formula 1 race is 300 kilometers of whichever circuit that you're at, plus 1 extra lap. That's the usual race. So here in Baku, it takes 300 kilometers to do 50 laps. In 50 laps, you do 300 kilometers, and then you just do 1 extra lap, so that's 52. 51, sorry. And then in the sprint race, it is 100 kilometers of racing, basically. So that's how they decide how many laps we have in a sprint race. All right, we now have Lewis Hamilton in DRS range of Carlos Sainz. This has been a long time since we've had a little bit of action. 2 green sectors for Lewis Hamilton, very much chasing down Carlos Sainz, and he's going maximum attack here. Both drivers, very similar tyre conditions, and both of them have been conserving for the majority of this race. But but Hamilton now looking to attack Carlos Sainz, going through the first sector. He's going all the way up to the curbs, tucking right into that slipstream. And yeah, maybe he can hold on. If he holds on through the middle sector, doesn't get too affected by the dirty air, he will be able to make a move into turn number 1. Yeah, the Ferrari isn't that quick in a straight line, so Carlos Sainz is going to have to do something extravagant, get a very good exit or something if he is going to defend against this, or just squeeze Lewis to the inside line and maybe compromise his entry. That could be another thing that he could do. But we'll have to wait and see. Hamilton, though, going through the middle sector, just keeps the gap under 1 second. It's 0.95 seconds is the gap between the two drivers, and Hamilton just keeping it under there. He hits the DRS detection point, and here they go now. Coming out of the final corner, we're going to have a little bit of a duel between these two drivers, and we'll see what Hamilton can do then. So here they go. Going through the final last sweeping corners, both drivers gets a very good exit, but of course Hamilton opens up that DRS, and this year we in fact had the DRS shortened. It was too powerful in the previous years, so they reduced the length of the DRS zone from 440 meters to 330 meters, and Hamilton now too far back to go for a move, but he is closer than he was last time, so that is progress made there for Lewis Hamilton. If Sainz does make even a hint of a mistake, Hamilton will be there to capitalize on it, and who knows what will happen. Also, Sergio Perez, fastest first sector, fastest lap of the race, and he is now 3 seconds clear of Max Verstappen. Verstappen really can't do much about this. We have got 15 laps after this race, 14 laps after this race, and Verstappen, in 14 laps you can definitely catch up 3 seconds, but if you look at the previous 25 laps that we've already had, it does not look like Max Verstappen will be able to catch up that gap. But yeah, who knows though? It could be a little bit of a mistake from Perez, like Verstappen just did a couple of laps earlier, and it could be Verstappen right back in the game. All right. Also, we've nearly got 7,000 people watching. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Very much do appreciate it. If you are enjoying the stream, be sure to hit the like button. Definitely does help out the channel. And yeah, I hope you are enjoying. Okie dokes. So, for the rest of the Grand Prix now, 14 laps remain. And we are having a fair amount of action going on, in fact. Hamilton still within that DRS range. Here they go once again down the start-finish straight. Hamilton, in fact, slightly further back than he was on his previous occasion. Before he was 4 tenths behind. This time he's 5.5 tenths behind. So slightly falling back, and of course, the more and more you are in DRS range, and the closer you are, the more overheated tires you get. And the drivers were already struggling with tire wear due to these high temperatures. So yeah, maybe a couple of laps and we see Lewis Hamilton back off and conserve his tyres a bit, charge up his battery, because constantly attacking is not going to get you anywhere, really. Also, we have got a fastest first sector from Fernando Alonso. Maybe he's trying to catch up to Leclerc. I mean, the gap is 3 seconds, and it's definitely possible with that Ferrari being worse on his tyres compared to the Aston Martin. But yeah, also, yeah, Guan Yu Zhou looks like he's out. I'm not sure. Maybe they just retired the car for just getting less wear and tear on it because they weren't really getting anywhere. I will just try and find out what happened to Guan Yu Zhou and why they did retire. Could have been a mechanical issue because Haas were actually struggling. There was something wrong with his engine in the practice sessions. And yeah, in fact, yeah, Guan Yu Zhou has been told he's had an issue. And it's a technical issue that has cut his race short. So Haas and Alfa Romeo, both Ferrari engine teams, having engine issues this weekend. So yeah, that's not looking good for Ferrari. They have been trying to fix their reliability issues, but it looks like everything isn't sorted as of yet. Yeah. All right. Gap between Perez and Verstappen, 3.5 seconds. Perez is running away with, well, not running away with this, but he is definitely extending that gap out. And we'll see how that works out for him. Yeah. All right. 13 laps remain now. This is, yeah. Hamilton still on the back of Carlos Sainz, applying that constant pressure, and it's just, yeah, it's relentless from Hamilton. We've seen this so many times before. He's just constantly applying pressure to the driver he's trying to overtake, and usually it definitely helps him out, doesn't it? But we're kind of just seeing, is it gonna work out for him? Is he gonna make a mistake, or is Carlos Sainz going to hold on till the end of this race? Alrighty. So let's get back to this. Also, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, that'd very much be appreciated. If we could hit 1,000 likes, that'd be fantastic. And we're getting kind of close to our subscriber goal as well. So if you are enjoying the content, then be sure to like and subscribe. I do commentate all of the qualifying sessions and race sessions and sprint qualifying and sprint races. So if you do want to tune in for any other Grand Prix, then that would be fantastic. All right. Yeah, Bottas with a 3 pit stop strategy. Fantastic job there from Valtteri Bottas. Well, not Valtteri Bottas, I think the Alfa Romeo team. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing. But they've put him out on medium tyres now with 12 laps left to go. So we can get to the end of this race. But it's just slightly strange that he would choose to do that. I mean, to be fair, Bottas was nowhere near the points. So it's, it didn't really matter that much. But yeah, now he's under threat of being lapped by Perez and Verstappen. Yeah. How long does the soft last? Softs on this circuit, with this temperature, they last about like 5 laps tops. So yeah, soft tyres not the way to go forward. Definitely not a race tyre whatsoever. They are very much just a qualifying tyre. And the mediums and the hards are the only race tyres. Why is Bottas so slow? I think it's not really Bottas. Both Zhou and Bottas have just been kind of slow lately. And if both drivers are slow or both drivers are quick, it's kind of down to the car rather than the driver's fault. And yeah, the Alfa Romeo just hasn't been performing. I haven't heard that they've brought any upgrade packages or anything. They kind of just had a bad car to start the season off, and with everyone else bringing upgrade packages, they've just got relatively slower and slower, and here they are now at the back of the pack. Yeah, not ideal whatsoever. We have got 10 laps remaining now. And the gap at the front of the field, 3.3 seconds, with Charles Leclerc 16 seconds behind Max Verstappen and 20 seconds behind Perez. Perez could basically come out of the pits and still end up ahead of Charles Leclerc. So, yeah, that's how dominant the Red Bulls are. There we go. Is it Lewis's time to attack? Well, once again, going through turn number 1, the gap is 0.4 of a second. It just does not get any closer than that. Hamilton gets... as I say that, Sainz makes a mistake going into turn number 2. Hamilton right on the back of him, applying a whole bunch of pressure into turn number 3 now. He's got the DRS, got the slipstream. He's too far back to make a move. But Sainz had a little bit of a slip up there going through into turn number 2. So he's feeling the pressure for sure. And we could see Lewis Hamilton make that overtake. It takes 22 seconds to do a pit stop and 11 seconds if there is a safety car out. But yeah. How many laps to go? Well, guys, how many laps to go? It does say on the screen we're on lap number 41 of 51, so 10 laps remaining. Yeah. All right. The gap is growing between Alonso and Leclerc. Yeah, I don't know how that's happening really. Alonso set a fastest purple first sector, and then Ferrari basically just came over the radio like, Leclerc, it's time to start driving quickly, and use some of that Baku magic that you've got. And yeah. and that gap has just been extended. I mean, Alonso has been setting quick and like green lap times, personal best lap times, but Leclerc just managing to hold on. Yeah. All right, gap also between the two Red Bulls. Verstappen gains half a second on that previous lap, so it could be battle on again, because it was, the gap previously was 3.5 seconds. It's down to 3 in the space of one lap. With 10 laps left to go, there's definitely a fighting chance that if Verstappen has enough battery stored up and enough tyre life in his tyres, he could go for an attacking move on Sergio Perez. But yeah, we'll find out over the course of the next 2 laps. Does that gap continue decreasing? Does Perez pick up the pace, or is it destined for the race to finish this way? All right. So Lewis Hamilton now 8 tenths behind Carlos Sainz going through the middle sector. Can he force a mistake? Can he force something to happen here? Or is Carlos Sainz just cool under the pressure and being able to just manage that gap as he does? Yeah, look at this. Charles Leclerc, fastest through the middle sector. He's having no chance. He's no chance that he's giving up this podium and letting Alonso get it. Alonso's already had to, and Leclerc's like, I'm going to take this one if you don't mind. Thank you very much. And yeah, he goes purple through the middle sector. Of course, that's where the Ferrari excels in the slow speed corners. And we'll see if, it looks like Leclerc will maintain this gap to the end of this race with 10 laps to go and 4 seconds of a gap. And with Leclerc still significant pace still in the car, he should be able to hang on. But Hamilton, though, here he comes out of the final couple of corners, does not get a great exit. Gets pretty close to Carlos Sainz nevertheless, though, because the slipstream and the DRS is so powerful. And he's gaining, and this is the furthest away he's been in the last couple of laps now. It's nearly 0.6 of a second going into turn number 1 was the gap between the two drivers. So, yeah, not ideal there for Lewis Hamilton. And we're just going to have to see how he copes. All right. So Valtteri Bottas has now been lapped by Sergio Perez. He will be getting lapped by Max Verstappen shortly. Fernando Alonso now responding to Charles Leclerc, fastest first sector from him. If we're not careful here, we could see a fastest lap from Fernando Alonso with Charles Leclerc rather than the two Red Bulls. But we'll just have to wait and see. Alrighty. Hulk and Ocon must use softs for last 7 laps. Yes, these drivers have gone 42 laps on their hard tyres, so it definitely can be done. And now they will come into the pits very, very shortly and just do the final stint on the remaining tyres that they do have. The soft tyres, they're going to last like 5 laps maximum. They might as well just go on to the mediums and just go maximum attack on those. But yeah. All right. So let's see. Yeah, and the gap that did go down from 3.5 to 3 seconds, it is once again stabilized at 3 seconds. Perez very quickly got told over the radio that Verstappen has picked up the pace, so he should do so accordingly. And yeah, that is exactly what they have done. Perez is now matching Max Verstappen's lap times, and there is currently no threat of Verstappen overtaking Sergio Perez. But yeah, with still a couple of laps left to go, maybe one incident, a safety car, things could very much be turned on their head. Charles Leclerc, with the fastest lap of the race, goes faster than Perez and Verstappen. Seems like they're both very much in tyre conservation mode, and I don't see why you wouldn't be. When you have a 16-second lead over your closest competitor, you might as well save your tyres a little bit. And yeah, Leclerc and Alonso saying nearly identical lap times, 3 milliseconds between the two drivers' lap times. So yeah, Fernando picked up the pace and Leclerc did the exact same. All Also, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. It definitely does help out the channel. I think I've said it a couple of times now, but yeah. And be sure to tune in for future streams as well. Do hope to see you around. Yeah. All right. We'll probably see in the next couple of laps now, Hülkenberg and Ocon pit. Thing is, when they do eventually pit, where are they going to come out? They're going to come out in 16th and 17th place by the looks of it, because you lose 22 seconds in a pit stop. So they're currently 22 seconds ahead of Gasly and Sargent. So, it's not great. And that will put Lando Norris and Yuki Tsunoda up into the points when they do eventually pit. So that will be good news for McLaren. Their upgrades seem to work slightly better in qualifying than they did in the race, but progress is progress. And when you had such a bad start to a season like McLaren did, you'll take any sort of progress every day of the week. All right, Sergio Perez extends that gap out to 3.7 seconds. So now now the deal has very much been sealed. See, every time I say something like this, I don't want it to be a commentator's curse and Perez just has an engine failure. But yeah, maybe Ocon and Hülkenberg. If they did finish the race without pitting, that would be breaking the FIA rules. The rules are that you have to do at least one pit stop. Oh no, the rules are that you have to use at least 2 different tyre compounds over the course of a race. And yeah, so Pirelli have said, oh, not Pirelli, but yeah, if they have to do at least one pit stop. So that's what they're doing, really. All right, Lando Norris finally overtakes Nico Hülkenberg after being stuck behind him for probably around about 25 laps or something. Finally does get ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. Brilliant job there from Lando Norris. And now he puts himself up into the points, and he's got to chase down Esteban Ocon. Well, to be fair, he doesn't really have to chase him down because Ocon's going to pit anytime soon now. Also, guys, we are coming to the end of this race. Who is your driver of the day for today? Who has stood out exceptionally and done a pretty good performance? Actually, I'm not sure who my driver of the day would be. I'll have to have a little bit of a think about it. But do let me know who your driver of the day is. All right. I mean, Perez has done a very good job, hasn't he? He took the lead. He got slightly lucky with that safety car, getting ahead of Max Verstappen through the pit stops, and then, ever since has just led the way really, and not really looked back. So he's done a good job there. Sergio Perez definitely is a contender for driver of the day. Thinking about anyone else really though. I mean, Hamilton had a good safety car restart, gained like 3 positions very quickly. But apart from that, we haven't had any outstanding, exceptional performances or anything to speak of. So, yeah. I'd very much say, yes, Sergio Perez would probably get driver of the day. I mean, Sainz as well. Yeah, Sainz has been surviving Hamilton's pressure for the past, 10 laps or something. So that's pretty good. But, who knows? All right. Now we've got 4 laps remaining. And yeah, Hamilton's still 1 second behind Carlos Sainz. If he is going to attack Carlos Sainz, now is the time. He will have had that little bit of time out of dirty air and charged up his battery a little bit. And we could see him going for an attack at the end of this race. But it is a bit of a long shot because Carlos Sainz has been very, very consistent. And yeah. All right. So anytime, I mean, I don't know, this Hülkenberg and Ocon are doing a fantastic job just staying out on the race as long as possible. I think what they're doing now is just hoping for a safety car. They're like, if we, we'll stay out one more lap, maybe there's a safety car, maybe something, and then they will just try and, well, they're going to capitalize off the safety car, of course, but yeah, by the looks of it, they aren't really going to get a safety car. 5 laps remaining. There's no one even potentially going for an overtake. The only drivers within DRS are Hülkenberg and Piastri. Everyone else has not even got DRS and is not even close enough to make a move. So the chance of getting a red flag is pretty low. I mean, you could have a little bit of a mistake. You could have an engine failure. Not a red flag, sorry, a yellow flag or a safety car. But nevertheless. All right. Sonoda ahead of Nico Hülkenberg now. But they've done a fantastic job. 46 laps on hard tyres from the start of this race. Absolutely time management masterclass from Esteban Ocon and Nico Hülkenberg. Pirelli said you could do about 40 laps on those, like maximum, and these guys have gone and done 46 with extra hot tyre temperatures and track temperatures. So, yeah, props to them. Done a brilliant job managing those tyres. All right. Lewis Hamilton now closer than 1 second compared to Carlos Sainz, and we could see him get some DRS very, very shortly. But it is, yeah, a bit of a that attack for Lewis Hamilton seems to be a bit futile. He gets close, but can't make a move, and it's a very, very frustrating. It must be very frustrating for him. All right. What else is going on the circuit? Piastri has just overtaken Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg about to get overtaken by Albon as well, maybe. But yeah, it looks like Hülkenberg's tyres have fell off a cliff a little bit because it's, well, yeah, they fell off a cliff because he's done 47 laps on them. It's fair enough. Yeah. All right. Fernando Alonso with the fastest lap of the race, going just marginally faster than Max Verstappen's previous attempt. And the gap to Leclerc has been closed down to 2.7 seconds now. So we could see maybe Alonso get a little bit close, but with only now 3 laps remaining. Yeah, it's going to be difficult. And same for Max Verstappen. The gap went down from 3.5 back to 3. But, we've got a yellow flag. Oh, never mind. It just flashed up yellow and then flashed straight back to green again. It must have just been a Marshall press a button. That got me all excited. I was like, we're going to have a yellow flag, but apparently not. Not ideal, really. But, here we are. Carlos Sainz now 1.1 seconds ahead of Hamilton. Yeah, so Hamilton not looking to make a final lap overtake. Not looking to put on an attack right at the end of the race. And Hülkenberg now losing a position to Albon, losing a position to Magnussen, his teammate. And yeah, Hülkenberg hasn't even pitted and he's dropped all the way down to 15th position. And Esteban Ocon staying up there in 9th, just managing to hang on. Lando Norris not catching up to him just yet. And Hülkenberg is struggling. We're on lap number 50 of 51, and we're going to have, Hülkenberg will probably pit on this lap, and the same can be said for Ocon. They're going to pit just before the end of this race, and yeah. The Dream Dynasty, thank you for the donation. We all agreed Leclerc's really improved this race. That is safe to say. Yeah, Leclerc and Ferrari both have improved. Once again, I very much do appreciate the donation. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, thank you. All right. We have Fernando Alonso still holding the fastest lap of the race, improves on his previous fastest lap, going even faster, gap to Leclerc, 2.2 seconds, and now we are on the penultimate lap of this race. Fernando Alonso has, basically two entire 12 kilometers of circuit to try and catch up to Charles Leclerc. He's got 12 kilometers to catch up a gap of 2 seconds. It's going to be tough. And it's going to be pretty unlikely, but it could happen. If Leclerc makes a little bit of a mistake, You can keep our hopes up for that. And Lewis Hamilton as well has put on a final attack here with 2 laps remaining, dips below that DRS range and is fully well within the DRS of Carlos Sainz. George Russell comes out onto the pits on soft tyres. Seems that he had a very big advantage over the rest of the drivers. He's coming out on softs to get the fastest lap of the race. And yeah, we've got Alonso versus Leclerc, which could potentially happen. Hamilton versus Sainz, which is currently happening. Russell going for the fastest lap of the race. And the gap between Perez and Verstappen is 3 seconds. So I think that's pretty safe to say what's going to happen there. Hülkenberg finally does come into the pits. Esteban Ocon hasn't come into the pits. And we are on the final lap of the... Oh no, Esteban Ocon isn't on his final lap yet. Perez is on his final lap. Esteban Ocon still on to his second to last lap. But yeah, we're on lap number 51 now of 51 for Sergio Perez, leading the way ahead of Max Verstappen. 2.5 seconds is the gap. Perez just going slightly slower, making sure he doesn't make a bit of a mistake on the final lap. Not letting Verstappen get too close for sure. All right then, so going down the start-finish straight, Hamilton and Sainz starting their final lap. Hamilton hasn't got the DRS. It looks to be game over unless Hamilton can get a drag race to the finish line against Carlos Sainz. Sainz has sealed the deal for 5th place, but we've still got 6 kilometers left to go. We'll see what he can do. Alonso as well, 1.3 seconds is the gap between Alonso and Leclerc. Alonso's thrown everything at this now. 1.2 seconds is the gap. We're on the final lap of the race. If Alonso can get within DRS, he could have a potential drag race to the finish line. And, well, that'll be fantastic to watch. And in fact, here he does. Fernando Alonso, it's 1.04 seconds, 1.1 seconds through the middle sector. If he can hang on, then we could see Alonso steal this podium away on the final lap, on the final sector of the circuit. That will be absolutely, well, the scenes would be crazy. So here we go, 1.035 seconds is the gap. They will cross the DRS detection point after turn number 15, and it's just dipped down below that. Is Alonso going to get DRS? Who knows? But here comes Sergio Perez, comes across the line to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Brilliant drive from Sergio Perez. And Verstappen comes home in 2nd place. It's a Red Bull 1-2. It's Leclerc versus Alonso, though, coming out of the final corner. Alonso has the DRS, has the slipstream. He's 9 tenths behind, which is a bit too big by the looks of it. But who knows how powerful that Aston Martin is with all of the battery deployed. So here they come across the start-finish line. And unfortunately, the gap is too big. Charles Leclerc gets 3rd position, Fernando Alonso in 4th, and Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton now attacking Carlos Sainz. We've suddenly got a whole bunch of action here now on the final lap. Hamilton within 0.6 of a second going through these corners. Can he hang on to the back of Carlos Sainz? No, he cannot. And we've got Sainz in 5th. Hamilton in 6th, Stroll in 7th, and George Russell with the fastest 1st sector, fastest 2nd sector, and I presume he will get the fastest 3rd sector for the fastest lap of the race. But guys, it has been absolutely brilliant commentating to you guys. Hope you have enjoyed this coverage of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And I hope to see you around for the next couple of races, so be sure to subscribe and hit the like button. And yeah, let's see. Everyone else has crossed the line. Russell crossed the line, fastest lap of the race for him. Lando Norris comes across the line in 9th place, gets that final podium position. Esteban Ocon pulls into the pits on the final lap of the race to get his soft tyres. So yeah, Esteban Ocon has done his pit stop and follows the rules, so he's not disqualified. And then we have Yuki Tsunoda in 10th. Yuki Tsunoda in 10th to score that final points position. Yeah, Esteban Ocon and Nico Hülkenberg nearly did the entire race, 50 or 49 laps on the hard tyres. Absolutely fantastic. So many people got in the way of Ocon in the pit lane. Yeah, I don't think they were expecting it because they're all very much focused on their own team, so they don't pay attention to if someone else is pitted, and nobody pits really on the final lap of the race. But yeah, there you go. So that has been the commentary, guys. Hope you have enjoyed. I very much have enjoyed doing this commentary. Although the race probably, rate the race out of 10. I'd probably say it's been like a 6 out of 10 maybe. Not the most exciting race. I'd say the weekend on the whole has been a 6 out of 10. This race hasn't been that great, but do let me know what you guys think. And yeah, it's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. Yeah, have a nice morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are in the world. And I will see you in a couple of weeks' time for the I think it's the Miami Grand Prix, isn't it? Oh, also, by the way, I do have exams going on, so I might not be able to commentate. I will let you know closer to the actual date of the Miami Grand Prix. It really depends how many exams go. If they're going well, then I'll commentate. If not, and I've got a lot of work to do, then I will not be able to commentate. But yeah, I will see you guys in a fortnight for the Miami Grand Prix. I appreciate everyone that's tuned in, hit the like button, subscribed, typed in the chat. It's all been absolutely fantastic, and all the donations as well. Yeah. Oh, hello, Multi Ninja. Nice to see you back. Yeah, Checo's done a great job here. And yeah, that definitely does mean there's no Danny Rick, because Checo is doing a good job. Maybe Danny Rick drives for another team. Who knows? But yeah, there we go. All right, well, that has been it. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Yeah, see you later. Cheers, fellas.